हो गया? Welcome to to this webinar on energy economics, new challenges and solutions. Myself, Dr. PRASOOM DWIVEDI, shall be sharing some thoughts on energy economics. Today, the discipline of energy economics is getting its importance day by day. This presentation has been classified into three categories. The first category would be talking about theoretical understanding on energy economics. Second phase would be talking about the challenges and issues in energy economics with the dynamic changes in the world economy. And the third classification would be talking about the solutions. What can be the solutions of those challenges? So if we look at basic characteristic and definition of energy economics, this is a branch of economics which is called applied economics, where not only the understanding of concepts of energy of economics is developed, but also their application is also to be assumed in the respective energy sector. Energy economics has become an interdisciplinary area where, along with understanding of economics, the policy, sociology, psychology, and the other technical disciplines are also involved. Basically, from the economics perspective, if we look at the type of demand, the demand for energy is a derived demand where this demand gets exhausted when the purpose is achieved. So this is a typical demand which is dependent on few activities. So the demand for energy is dependent on various economic activities, and if we see from macroeconomic perspective, the demand for energy depends on the GDP growth rate, which is also a challenge for energy economists to understand the demand for energy with the growing economies like India and China. We'll discuss in detail in the later slides. Now, if we see all over the world, the energy sector is a public utility sector where a typical natural monopoly is actually deriving the sector, and due to which it is very difficult to introduce competition in these sectors. Energy sector is a natural monopoly because it provides essential services, and due to natural conditions it is difficult to introduce competition. Similarly, the pricing strategies are also very difficult and different if we compare the pricing strategies of energy sector with the other sectors like FMCG or automobile sector. Mainly, be it electricity sector or petroleum sector, the pricing strategies are dependent on price discrimination, which is a concept of monopoly market, where the pricing is done based on the categories, first degree of price discrimination, second degree of price discrimination, and third degree of price discrimination. And if we see the household electricity bill, these in our homes, these electricity bills are basically the pricing and the billing is done based on the second degree of price discrimination. So, because of the public utility and natural monopoly, initially the majority of the energy sector was kept under government control, not only in India but all over the world. But later on, with the growing energy demand for energy and uh, the investment needs, the various countries have had unbundled the energy sector, and it is done in India also, where the private players have been invited to invest and to expand the energy sector and to invest in various projects of energy sector. If we have to if we can see the energy sector as a whole, we can classify for the understanding purpose the energy sector in terms of energy sources. One is coal, second is oil and gas, and third one is electricity. So electricity, oil and gas is one source where the oil and gas industry and relatively related regulatory bodies and ministries are associated with it. And as you know, the majority of the energy demand for oil and gas is dependent on imports. More than 80% of crude oil is imported in India. But if we see the electricity, the it has got three verticals, we can say: generation, distribution, and transmission. So if we see the transmission, generation side of electricity sector, the majority of the capacities are deployed with the thermal power plants, but gradually the proportion of renewable energy is also increasing in the total electricity generation. Secondly, the distribution sector is also very important, and if we see the Indian sector, uh, it is uh, it is growing, and with the policy development, the government is trying uh, to grow the distribution sector and its market with the policy implications like open access, etc. Transmission sector is still heavily government under government regulation, but gradually the private investment would be invited in the transmission sector. So if we see the energy sector as a whole with the Indian perspective, it is quite regulated market, and a lot of government interventions and policy implications are there, and the private players are actually heavily dependent on the policy decisions to make their business viable or to decide their revenue streams. Just to understand the energy consumption, just to understand the energy consumption pattern, uh, where the and in what kind of variables are determining the energy demand, we can see from income perspective, prices, and geography. So energy consumption and incomes are closely associated, and if we divide the countries, rich income countries and poor income countries, so the countries which have higher incomes, their energy consumption is high, their per capita consumption is high, while in poor countries the per capita energy consumption is low. Similarly, at the same time, if we compare the type of energy consumption in rich countries, they are more tending towards clean energy usage, while poor countries, people in the poor countries are using dirty energy sources or, or inefficient energy sources. As far as the relationship between energy consumption and prices are concerned, it is said that when the prices will be low, the energy consumption will be high, and when prices will be high, then energy consumption will be low. So, in this respect, recent phenomenon has also shown the same interest, where same pattern, where the crude oil prices started going down, and in various countries the uh, energy consumption of petroleum products gone up. Energy consumption and geography has also close association, where uh, the clear-cut pattern can be uh, demarcated if we see the cold climate countries where the energy consumption for heating purposes is more, while in hotter climate countries where the energy consumption for the air conditioning is more. So if we can categorize the activity wise energy consumption uh, in India and also in different countries, it varies from purpose to purpose. For example, heating purposes, cooking purpose, air conditioning purposes, transportation purposes, and the other purposes. If we can classify, if we can on this basis we can understand in Indian perspective, uh, the if we see the cooking purpose, the majority of the cooking in India is dependent on fuel wood, and which is creating lot of climate challenges for the end users and for the society as a whole. Similarly, uh, the air conditioning and transportation is heavily dependent on petroleum products like diesel and petrol. And there is very another important category of consumer, that is called industry. And in India it is said that industrial energy consumption is almost 65 to 70% of the total energy consumption. So it is also very important that to know that the industry, what kind of energy consumption is there in the industries. So the industries are also heavily dependent on conventional fuels like diesel, high-speed diesel, furnace oil, etc. If we see another basis for understanding the energy consumption pattern, that is energy consumption and population density. So where there are population density is less, the distances will be more, and there will be more expenses or more consumption for transportation. So therefore, uh, all over the world these patterns can be identified, and uh, people can work on the efficient utilization of the energy sources. Like in India, uh, if we see the Indian perspective, the energy consumption and incomes can be studied in rural and urban areas, where the rich people are consuming more energy than the poor people. But with the few research studies and the surveys which we have conducted at UPES, we found that it is very obvious that rich people are consuming more. But as far as the premise that rich people are consuming the uh, clean energy sources, that is not right. That we found that in India, uh, although the energy consumption of the rich people is high, but they are not consuming the clean energy. They are not dependent on the clean energy or the commercial energy sources. Largely, they are dependent on the sources which are freely available, for example, fuel wood or the other locally available resources. Similarly, in energy sector in India, the commercial energy sources, their accessibility of commercial energy sources is very poor, due to which people will have to are actually dependent on the non-commercial energy sources. Let's move on. Uh, as we have discussed that this is the sector, the energy markets, where government has to government has to involve. The reason is the basic nature of this industry. We'll discuss the nature of why the government should involve in the energy markets. Another fundamental question is, why can't energy markets solve the societal problems on their own? And the reason is due to externalities. Uh, First of all, it is considered that energy commodities are are public goods, and secondly, the demand for energy goods is much higher than the supplies. So it is not possible for the private players or an individual to meet that demand, and that's why the government has to intervene to provide these kind of commodities and services. Similarly, with the usage of these commodities, the externalities also takes place like pollution and global warming, for which the government also has to play its active role, and that's why the government has to intervene in the energy markets. Similarly, due to the natural monopoly conditions, it is not possible to introduce competition. It is not possible to leave the market on the market forces, because of there is a presence of market power, and due to this market power there are chances of exploitation of the end users, and due to which it becomes the government's prime responsibility to intervene and to control the market. Similarly, as we have discussed, the goods produced are not in sufficient quantity by the marketplace, and that's why the government has to intervene at both the sides, demand and supply sides, to rationalize and to make the balance between these two market forces. But with the gradual increase in the demand for energy, the government has allowed not only in India but all over the world the private investments, so that uh, so that the developmental needs can be met. uh, those developmental efforts are lagging behind due to the lack of availability of energy. And in India also, the government has introduced lot of reforms in the electricity and in the energy market to 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 invite the private players, and the unbundling has been done. And unbundling has been done from central government to the state government, and to also to the private players. If we see in electricity sector, lot of unbundling has been done. There is private investments has been done uh, heavily in the generation part of the sector, where all across the energy sources, be it conventional energy sources or non-conventional energy sources, lot of private investment is coming in. For example, the recent central government is putting lot of effort on the renewable energy generation, where a lot of investment has been done by the foreign investors in the solar parks. And the recently the upcoming policy is the rooftop policy, where the individual households and the industries and the end user as a whole has been encouraged to set up the solar panels on their rooftops, so that they can generate their electricity on their own. So, with this coexistence of government and private players, and also the involvement of the local people, uh, is actually encouraged by the policy, and specifically by the Electricity Act 2003, which was introduced and which has actually changed the market structure of India, at least. But all over the world, if we see, we will found the unbundling of the energy sector. There are various markets which are the benchmark markets, where a lot of reforms has been done and are working successfully. Those countries like Britain, like US, uh, like North America are the benchmark countries for the countries like India, where the reforms can be introduced and lessons can be learned from those countries for the successful implementation of those policies. So with the change in with this market structure, and with the introduction of the policies and coexistence of government and private players, the energy economists are also facing the challenges with respect to the energy market. For example, increasing energy consumption in growing economies like India and China. So, uh, as all of us know that the entire global economy is looking at the economies like India and China, which has got lot of demand, democracy, and demography, where lot of market opportunities are available, and obviously the GDP is also growing. But if we see, these economies are heavily dependent on conventional energy sources. So and recently the Indian government has committed to increase the renewable energy contribution by 40% in the total energy generation capacity deployed by 2030, and for that India has to increase its renewable energy generation. But there are a lot of challenges with respect to the renewable energy generation, may be related to cost of generation, may be related to the grid integration, may be related to the sustainability of those projects. Uh, recently, recently, the unconventional energy technology introduction has affected the market structure of the crude oil supply and crude oil demand, which has also changed the geopolitical landscape all over the world. Uh, with this introduction, if we see the OPEC countries have reduced almost 50% of demand from America, and due to which the equilibrium between demand and supply has altogether changed, uh, and due to which the economies like India are actually getting benefits of low crude oil prices, which is ultimately resulting in low cost of production. But it has got the futuristic impacts also, which needs to be understand that how far these low crude oil prices are going to affect the exploration and the development of technologies for future uh, uh, future exploration of, of crude oil in different oil producing countries. It is also affecting the GDP of oil producing countries. Recently, the Venezuela has is experiencing a reverse kind of economic results. For example, the inflation rate in Venezuela is 481%, and if we see the GDP of Venezuela, the 85% of GDP is crude oil dependent, and due to the low crude oil prices, due to the low crude oil prices, Venezuelan economy is actually uh, has lost all its economic fundamentals. So the world over, the economies are facing different kind of experiences, which are the challenge before the energy economists to understand that, and to provide the solutions how those economies can have the sustained benefits. Similarly, the climate change and low carbon growth is another area uh, which is bothering the energy economists. How the energy intensities can be reduced, and how the low carbon growth can be maintained. For this, energy efficiency is also considered as invisible energy source. It is said that 1 unit of energy saved is equal to 1.2 unit of energy generated. So it is a very important source of energy efficiency, of energy saving, to reduce the carbon emission, and also to help in the problems in reducing the problems of climate change. But energy efficiency has got also got typical challenges for the successful implementation of energy efficiency efforts, because it is very difficult to convert and to monetize the benefits of energy efficiency, and at the time of consumption it is assumed by the consumers that they will sacrifice their energy consumption. So those kind of benefits, it is very difficult to convert into monetary terms, and to make them confident that this is going to help them in terms of reducing their cost, and also in terms of reducing the carbon emission. Similarly, as I have discussed that with the low crude oil prices, there will be an adverse impact on developing the unconventional technologies, because the revenues for the exploration companies and for the oil producing countries are going down. Then they will not be encouraged, they will not be motivated to invest in R&D activities for the development of unconventional technologies. So therefore, the questions which are yet to know, the impact of development on exploration technologies, the impact of GDP, inflation, and economic development, impact on the policies of oil exporting countries, impact on renewable energy development, impact on environment, impact on energy efficiency. These are the various areas where the energy economists would like to know the impacts in the changing scenario and in the changing uh, global environment of uh, oil and gas industry and the other energy sources. Energy economics at UPES, MA Energy Economics at UPES can be an option to understand these challenges, and uh, can provide the capabilities to understand these issues and challenges, and also to work out on the solutions. For that purpose, the UPES has recognized energy economics as a discipline which is comprising of energy international energy markets, power economics, which includes generation, transmission and distribution, economics of petroleum products, renewable energy economics, energy pricing, energy modeling, energy trading, energy sector project financing, ESCO financing, and energy efficiency economics, energy policy, renewable energy, electricity sector, and so on and so forth. So keeping these interdisciplinary areas in mind, the UPES has designed MA Energy course, MA Economics with a specialization in energy economics, which is a 2 year course, has been divided into 4 semesters, and which is covering all the interdisciplinary areas to provide a comprehensive understanding of the energy sector, and the understanding on the issues, economic issues of energy sector. So the purpose of this program is to impart domain-specific academic training to the students with, with, with academic rigor. The program aims at producing energy professionals for academic and corporate research positions in the private as well as the public sectors, keeping in mind the market demand in energy sector. The curriculum of the program is designed by eminent professors and professionals to acquaint the students with theoretical concepts as well as practical applications pertaining to the energy sector. In this regard, every year, as per university guidelines, the department has to develop the group of experts from industry and academia. They are invited and they spend the whole day to review the program and to accommodate the current changes and challenges in the respective energy sectors, and also they help to update academically and from industry perspective the energy all the courses. So therefore at UPES every year the energy courses, these courses are reviewed and updated with the help of industry academia interface. If we see the course grid, as we have just shared, that this course has been divided into 4 semesters, where we have a mix of courses where we are delivering basic economics courses, then few fundamental courses of energy economics, and advanced courses on energy economics. It has also got the electives, where in the second and third semester the electives are introduced The electives are techno-economics of energy system, energy pricing, green economics, and geopolitics of economics. So out of these four electives, two electives are offered in each of the semester, and the students has to choose any one of them. Similarly, very unlike to other MA economic courses, the university also offers the open electives, which are the electives offered by the other functional departments in the College of Management and Economic Studies. For example, Accounts and Finance Department offers the financial institution and market security analysis, advanced international financial management. Department of Human Resource and Organization Behavior offers HR analytics, industrial relations, political behavior and impression management. Department of Marketing offers services marketing, sales management, brand management. Department of Quantitative Techniques and Research Methodology, which is also called as Department of Decision Sciences, offers the courses like Advanced Data Analysis and Strategy Management, offers strategic management consulting and strategies for sustainable business. As far as the admission criteria is concerned, minimum 50% marks at higher and secondary level, and that is 10th and 12th, 50% at the graduation is desired. The students who have read statistics and with mathematics with minimum 50% marks at the graduation level from recognized university are eligible for the entrance test, but this entrance exam will be followed by personal interview. This course was introduced in 2013, so therefore the first batch is passed out, and the first batch, this course, as we have discussed, is quite industry oriented course where we have classroom teaching, then industry interface in the form of interaction with the industry, and also to visiting to the industry. So as a part of this, the students are supposed to visit as a part of their industrial visit to different places in the respective industries. So the first batch visited the industries like Reliance Industries, the Petrochemical Division, Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust, Reliance Infrastructure Limited. And the summer internship was done by the students in the institutions like Central Electricity Regulatory Commission, TERI, Market Insights Consultancy, Grandview Research, and Institute of Economic Growth. And as far as second batch is concerned, the students are still in the industry and completing their summer internship projects like CESE Kolkata, which is the distribution company, distribution franchisee based in Kolkata, TERI, Kurtz International, UREDA, Electricity, Central Electricity Authority, Grandview Research, and Bureau of Energy Efficiency. These are the few photographs where the second batch visited different industries on site as a part of their industrial tour. Uh, as we have discussed in the previous section of this presentation, the larger issues and challenges of energy economics, and to provide the solutions for these challenges, the students are used to do their projects in the form of their summer internship and in the form of dissertation projects. There are few projects which are listed which were done by the first batch students. One is policy analysis by comparing the solar policies of India and abroad and to analyze the reasons for failure of RPO compliance. Estimation of carbon emission using panel data analysis. Measuring efficiency of discoms using data envelopment analysis. Analysis of factors affecting electricity generation from renewable energy for Asia and Europe. Comparison of seasonality of electricity consumption between Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Drivers of carbon emission intensity in the developed and developing countries. Scope of competition in electricity sector. Learnings from different states. Scope, contribution and technological advancement in wind and power generated energy in India for private players. So role of energy, renewable energy in economic growth of developed and developing world. So if you can relate the challenges, these all are the projects where the students are trying to explore the solutions for the challenges which has been identified in the previous slides. Similarly, the second batch students have talked about have studied the impact of RPO and solar rooftop on average tariff and discoms business, regulation of electricity distribution in Maharashtra, green growth and energy transformation, average tariff and power economics, DPR and policy for development of micro and mini hydropower projects up to 2 megawatt, financial analysis of discoms, issues in power sector, energy storage systems, consumer categories, challenges in implementation of PET mechanism. This is a part of energy efficiency. In India, the government has created a market for energy efficiency efforts and through PET mechanism, which is called Perform, Achieve and Trade mechanism. Indo-Dutch CSRs and sustainability forums, estimation of energy savings of star rating buildings and compilation of format of data collection under star rating schemes for commercial buildings. As far as the placement of first batch is concerned, there is 100% placement of MA Energy Economics, and the students are placed with companies such as Mordor Intelligence, which is based in Hyderabad, Grandview Research based in Pune, Irade Integrated Research and Action for Development based in New Delhi, then Industrial Info Research Limited, Manikaran Limited, and Indus Energy, etc. The university also provides the placement support to the students, and we have dedicated staff and the resources which actually helps the students to to identify the placement opportunities, and the placement support also helps the students to groom themselves in terms of their personality as enhancement, provides training capsules which are based on the training needs which are identified through the interaction with the industry people. At the same time, the econometric lab is also uh, provided to the students, which helps them to enhance their uh, quantitative and analytical skills for energy economics. In addition to this, the Department of Economics and International Business is also running a Center of Excellence for Energy Economics Research, which was started in 2010, and the purpose of this research center uh, is to study and analyze the economics of energy business, economics of energy efficiency, capacity building, and role of local people in the renewable energy projects. Over a period of time, this center has done lot of projects, a lot of funded projects, funding agencies like UNDP, MNRE, DST, UNESCO, etc. Currently, this center is working on three projects. One is EU India project on energy and environment, where uh, the uh, the government agencies are sharing their challenges, and under this project the group of experts is trying to work on those challenges and trying to provide the solutions to the government agencies like MNRE, like SECI, Solar Energy Corporation of India, etc. And at the same time, UPES, we are also working on a project like called Financing Energy Efficiency Projects for MSMEs in the Dehradun cluster. This project is funded by World Bank, where we have we have a group of experts from College of Engineering and College of Management, where we are developing the detailed energy auditor report, and in the form of IGDPR we are conducting the lean audit and cleaner production strategies we are analyzing. We are also suggesting the financial analysis, economic and financial analysis of energy efficiency measures under this project. In addition to this, the Department of Economics and International Business also helps to groom the industry professionals to update their knowledge. So in the form of conducting management development programs. Recently this department has organized financing energy efficiency MDP on financing energy efficiency projects. In this MDP was organized in collaboration with various national level and state level agencies, and the industry professionals from all over India participated in this management development program. Thank you.